Today is Saturday, November 13th, and tonight I did full snatches, full cleans plus push jerks, front squats, and then pull-ups, and then one other core exercise thing that Aaron taught me. And yeah, so this workout was actually supposed to take place on Friday, but a bunch of random stuff came up, which is why I had to do it today, which sort of ended up making this day Big Saturday as opposed to Big Friday. But in any case, today I had just a ton of fun. It finally feels like I'm back to being a weightlifter with this Big Saturday session, I guess. Doing full snatches, full cleans, jerks, front squats, everything with really no problem. I'm several hours. I'm like right now, as I'm recording this, is several hours after my session ended, and my lower back feels fine, like no issues whatsoever. With these snatches, you can kind of tell earlier on in some of these, my lower back is not in the best position, I guess, off the ground. But I think one thing I realized through today was that when I'm setting up, I just need to get my hips a little bit lower. I feel like if you look at the angle of where my hip crease is relative to the top of my knee, I'm like almost at parallel or sometimes slightly above. And that's pretty close to, I guess, the angle, or that relationship is pretty close to that of when I'm cleaning off the ground, which I feel like is an indication that, my hips should not be nearly as high on the snatch given the huge difference in grip width. And for a lot of the reps where I have my hip crease, I guess, a little bit lower, my lower back is in a better position. So that's something that I think I sort of learned over the course of today's snatch sessions. I think some of the later sets, I'm a little bit more consistent with being in the right position and getting my lower back flat. And then another thing I sort of experimented with on these snatches was the placement of my feet. So I sort of intentionally pointed my toes a little bit more out than I normally do, which I think also helps a lot in sort of creating space for my lower back and my hips. I think I've always just sort of had my feet point pretty forward for the most part, like not that much angle, I guess, with my toes pointed outwards. And I think I mostly just had that set up that way just by looking at the way Aaron sets up and sort of imitating that. But I think that this works for me a lot better. This way I can feel the extension in my lower back a lot better. And I think just with the way that I'm built anatomically, I think this position is just better for me. Overall, felt pretty good. Again, so some of these later sets are definitely better. And I think I also get better with the position as I go through each set. So the third rep usually looks better than the second rep, and then the second rep looks better than the first rep. Bumped up to 95 after snatching 65 on Monday, which is a pretty big jump, but feels good, no problem. So, just happy to be back at it. And then moved on to clean plus push jerks, this time at 135, whereas on Wednesday I was at 95, which again, really big jump, but no issues here either. Feels pretty good overall. And so you can see here, so what I was talking about earlier with the relationship between my hip crease and my knee, you can see it's pretty much at parallel, which I guess a little bit above, but I feel like it shouldn't be that close to that of my snatch. I guess it's not something that I've particularly looked out for in other people, comparing other people's snatch versus their clean and jerk. So I guess I don't know that that's entirely true, but I guess it's more so just intuition. If my hands are this much closer compared to the snatch, then I shouldn't be that close to, it shouldn't look that close, I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just sort of the way I feel. And then on top of that, given the fact that when my hips were a little bit lower, I was in a better position. I feel like that's just enough evidence to suggest that I should work on getting my hips a little bit lower off the ground. But yeah, in any case, I think these clean plus push jerks, I really had no problem. I guess a few things is that, like, one, like, I think I'm getting tight off of the ground, but there's still a little bit of slack left in the bar for some of the reps. So I get tight, but I still kind of jerk off of the ground a little bit. Like, you can sort of see me, like, I don't think twitch is the right word, but you can see me sort of like, yeah, you can see a little jolt, I guess. That's the word I'm looking for. But I mean, I think, yeah, overall these went fine. I think some of these jerks, I think I might be dipping a little bit too low because on some of the reps, my hips sort of translate forwards, but not a huge deal, I don't think. Though I will say, I think, 5 sets of triples on both the snatch and the clean and jerk, although I didn't have any sort of pain or issues, it does feel like quite a bit of volume to sort of call it easing back in. I mean, obviously the weights are lighter, but regardless, I think a 5x3 for both the snatch and the clean and jerk is quite a lot. So I think I might be sort of dialing it down a little bit in terms of volume for the next few weeks. But yeah, we'll see how I recover. But I am pretty optimistic because, several hours after, no pain or anything. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, not too much more to say about these. Yeah, I'm thinking about the same things here as I am for the snatch with, like, my positioning off the ground, because right now that's really the most important thing. But with cleans, I have a much easier time because of obviously the difference in grip width. But yeah, I mean, I guess not much else to say. Yeah, toes pointed out, like, on the snatch, gives me a little bit more space in the hips. Yeah, so I guess I'll just sort of let these play until I think of something that is worth mentioning. But yeah. Yeah, a lot of these are still no foot, I think. It's pretty inconsistent. I honestly should figure out, like, go in with the intention of doing it with, no foot or not, I guess. But like, some reps just end up being no foot, whereas some others don't. But again, I don't think it's a huge deal here. It's really more so just, again, I've just been emphasizing this over and over, but it's just the positioning off the ground that I'm really focusing on right now. But yeah, here's the last set. Yeah, and the whole pulling the slack out and, like, avoiding the jolt thing, I think I did a better job of in the second half, because I noticed it earlier on. But yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, it's sort of like, if I can make it through a workout involving anything off the ground, snatch, clean and jerk, whatever it may be, and I don't have any issues with my lower back, or I don't feel any immediate pain, I think right now we'll take that as a win. So yeah, did those and then moved on to front squats. With front squats, I really have to be careful with sort of preventing my lower back from sort of curling in, because a tendency that I have when it gets really heavy is for me to sort of tuck my hips underneath me and, like, curl them in. And I think that would definitely cause issues under a heavy load. And so here I'm really just thinking about making sure that I'm front squatting correctly, not letting myself round over or anything like that. And so I sort of set a limit for today at 185 for these 3 sets of 5, but These are really easy. I think I could have gone up, but I think, playing it safe here is definitely the right call. Because again, easing back in is the goal. So that was second set, third set. No huge comment on these. These are pretty straightforward. Afterwards, I did pull-ups and then this sort of anti-twisting core exercise that Aaron told me about. Aaron mentioned that a friend of his at Stanford had used to do these, and these were pretty helpful. So I think it's pretty relevant with my lower back issues. So that's why we did them. But they're called the Jurgens twist, or the Jurgens anti-twist, if you will. But yeah, overall solid day. Really happy with how today went.